What is up, you guys? Glitches here, coming at you with another Dauntless video. Today I'm bringing you my comprehensive Behemoth breakdown for Gnasher. This video is the first of a multi-part series designed to help you perfect your hunts against every Behemoth in Dauntless. In this guide, I'll be explaining everything from the absolute basics to some more advanced tips and tricks to help put you a step above your Behemoth prey. I've designed this video to have a little something for slayers of all experience levels, so be sure to stick around. To keep things organized, this video will be broken up into 5 sections. Feel free to pause the video now and skip to any part of the guide. Okay, with the intro out of the way, let's get straight into the Behemoth lore. The Gnasher is a reptilian mammalian bully that always seems to be on the edge of rage. Among the more common behemoths found in the Shattered Isles, these ferocious but fairly predictable creatures are often the first prey of an apprentice slayer, yet they should never be underestimated. Gnashers instinctively use their chomping teeth to dig into the earth for arcanite fragments, but those mighty incisors can just as easily snap a tree trunk or a slayer's leg in two. The wide, flat tail they use to clear away obstacles to the aether they crave can also crush slayers flat with a single slam. Gnashers prefer neutral arcanite untinged by the elements, but are known to be opportunistic feeders. The Gnasher falls into the neutral behemoth category and is the first behemoth you will encounter on the Shattered Isles. Despite the initial lesser Gnasher variation being a pretty easy and straightforward hunt, later variations, which include the regular Gnasher, Ragetail Gnasher, Heroic and Heroic plus Ragetail Gnasher, as well as the Flameborn Gnasher found lurking in the Blaze escalation, tend to bring a much more difficult challenge to a slayer. The first move in Gnasher's arsenal is the tail flip attack. Gnasher will lower its body and curl up its tail before somersaulting into the air and slamming its tail onto the ground. This move is pretty readable and can be easily dodged by running to the left, right, or underneath Gnasher as he jumps. As with every behemoth attack, a good timed dodge roll or parry on weapons like the sword can negate the damage of this attack as well. Keep in mind, however, that with later variations of Gnasher, this attack will also send out secondary shockwaves that can damage you as well, so you may need to position yourself a little more carefully or make sure you have the stamina to dodge twice in a row to make a clean escape. If dodged properly, however, you should be able to land a few free hits on Gnasher as he cycles through his animation to stand back up. Gnasher's next move is its stomp attack. During this attack, Gnasher will slowly lift one of its legs into the air before slamming it down to the ground. You can attack both Gnasher's head and tail freely during this attack if positioned properly, because the area of effect is not that large. Keep in mind, however, that much like the Gnasher's previous attack, with later variations, this move will also send out similar shockwaves, so plan your dodges accordingly. This move isn't very common, but will be seen much more frequently if Gnasher's tail is severed, which leads me right into Gnasher's main bread and butter move. The tail swipe is Gnasher's main and most frequently used attack, not to mention the most deadly. If you see Gnasher winding its tail up, prepare to dodge because a quick slicing tail spin will be heading your way. Depending on which variation of Gnasher you're facing, this tail spin will rotate more and more, with the hardest variations completing 1 to 2 full 360 rotations before finally coming to a halt. If focused properly, however, slayers can sever the Gnasher's tail, at which point the tail swipe attack won't be used as frequently, making your hunt much more forgiving. If you spend too much time focusing the backside of Gnasher, you will likely run into its tail slam attack. During this move, Gnasher will almost flatten its body before leaping straight up into the air and slamming its tail onto the ground. Depending on the variation of Gnasher you're facing, or its enraged state, Gnasher may add secondary shockwaves and do the tail slam attack multiple times in a row before finishing the move, so prepare to dodge roll several times if you're not far enough away. If a slayer is focusing the head of Gnasher too much, this will most likely trigger its body slide attack. During this move, Gnasher will step back slightly before lunging itself forward across the floor. Harder variations of Gnasher will do this same slide multiple times in a row before finishing. This is the only move Gnasher does that can be interrupted. I recommend dodge rolling through Gnasher's first slide to help get you into a good position to land an interrupt attack on the second slide. Getting a solid interrupt during this move on Gnasher will open up a significant window of opportunity for you and your hunting party to get a ton of free damage on Gnasher without the fear of retaliation. During Gnasher's bite attack, it will reel its body back before lunging forward to chomp on any slayer standing in front of it. This isn't a commonly used attack, but much like Gnasher's stomp, if you sever the tail, you will begin to see this move more frequently. You can dodge this move with a simple roll to the left or right of Gnasher as he leaps forward. When Gnasher gets really mad, it will try to enter its enraged state. During this move, Gnasher will begin glowing red while repeatedly stomping the ground. After its final stomp, Gnasher will send out a red shockwave that can knock a slayer backwards. A good timed dodge roll towards Gnasher right as his final stomp is about to hit the ground is a perfect way to avoid the knockback effect. During Gnasher's enraged state, he gains bonus attack speed for all of his moves and will typically do its normal attacks multiple times in a row during this state as well, so plan your dodges accordingly. When Gnasher's enraged state is about to end, it will typically face away from the slayer and retreat away before coming to a halt and turning around exhausted. Take full advantage of this damage window because Gnasher will be open to attacks while it tries to recuperate. Other damage windows to look out for are when Gnasher is staggered or locked in its roaring animation. During these animations, Gnasher won't be focused on the slayer and you can get a few free attacks in before it re-engages. Last but not least, I wanted to quickly go over the modified moves you may run into while hunting the Flameborn Gnasher found in the Blaze escalation. The Flameborn Gnasher is the latest variation and arguably the hardest variation of them all. All of the Flameborn Gnasher's moves are pretty much the same with a few exceptions. Now, Gnasher has a body slam attack where he will jump into the air and land on his side instead of just slamming his tail. Lastly, Flameborn Gnasher's foot stomp, roar, and enraged stomp animations all have the potential to spawn balls of fire that rain down from the sky seeking out unsuspecting slayers from a distance. Now that you're familiar with all of Gnasher's moves, let me quickly recap and give you some helpful tips and tricks to keep in mind when fighting a Gnasher. First, try to focus Gnasher's tail as soon as possible. Once Gnasher's tail is severed, the hunt will become much easier. Next, remember to look out for Gnasher's slide attack. It's the one attack that can be interrupted, giving you a free window for extra damage. And lastly, preserve stamina throughout the fight by mastering your dodge roll timing. It's much easier than trying to just run away from everything, and will almost always leave you in a better position to get in a few extra hits in between each of Gnasher's attacks. There are 3 areas you can break on a Gnasher's body: the legs, the head, and the tail. By slaying a Gnasher and breaking these different body parts, you will be rewarded at the end of your hunt with several different types of loot. Here is a quick loot table explaining all the different drops you can get from Gnasher, as well as a list of all the exotic reagents you can acquire by breaking certain Gnasher parts quickly or while Gnasher is enraged. Last but not least, there wouldn't be any point in grinding all of those Gnasher drops if there wasn't some cool weapons and armor waiting for us back at Ramsgate. Here is a detailed list of all the Gnasher weapons and armor that you can craft with all of those drops you worked so hard for. While I let those lists play in the background, I'd like to take a second to thank all of you that made it to the end of the video. I put a lot of time and effort into all the content I create, and I hope I've helped out a few fellow Slayers. If you enjoyed the video, remember to hit that like button, it really helps out, and also consider sharing and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I hope you all had a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. Later. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Also, if you're looking to join a killer community of like-minded gamers, then be sure to click the link in the description and join the Glitch Gang Discord server. We continue to grow every day, and it's filled with all your favorite game discussion channels, as well as several LFG channels to help you find that perfect group for your next hunt or raid. Lastly, if you're new to the channel and want to keep up to date with all my future content, then consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Hope you all had a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.